Your favorite food is a slow motion execution conducted by your own cells. Every single spike in your blood sugar is literally caramelizing your internal organs. And it is turning your once clear brain into brittle and useless waste. You are rusting from the inside out every single second of your existence. And the global system is laughing while it sells you the expensive cure for a disease they created for their own profit. We are living in an era of total biological sabotage, where the very air we breathe and the processed food we eat are engineered to keep us weak, sick, and perpetually dependent. If you want to stop the internal decay and join the invisible 1% of the elite who stay sharp and youthful forever, you must subscribe to this channel right now. Share this vital transmission with those you truly care about. Let us build a massive fortress of metabolic sovereignty together and reclaim the high performance energy that has been stolen from your soul. Welcome to the era of precision longevity, where we master the hidden and complex biology of life, and where we refuse to let the global machine dictate our physical survival. This is not just a simple health tip for the masses. This is a formal declaration of war against the biological obsolescence that the modern world has forced upon your body. You are a biological empire under siege from predatory corporations. And today, we begin the process of rebuilding your walls, strengthening your gates, and purging the traitors from your internal systems. Stop being a victim of the standard human diet. Stop accepting the slow decline of your cognitive powers, and start demanding the biological excellence that is your birthright as a sovereign being. The elite are not lucky. They are simply operating on a different set of rules. A set of protocols designed to bypass the limitations of the common man. We are talking about a total transformation of your reality. A shift from a state of constant inflammation to a state of permanent, high-octane vitality and mental clarity. To master your long-term future, you must first understand the hidden and predatory enemy called glycation, a non-enzymatic reaction where rogue sugar molecules bond to your vital proteins. These sugar molecules act like permanent biological glue. They create advanced glycation end products that stiffen your flexible arteries and destroy the elastic fibers of your young and healthy skin. In the landscape of 2026, we recognize that chronic insulin resistance is the primary driver of rapid human decay, a silent and invisible fire that burns your potential. Most people are completely metabolically inflexible. They are trapped in a dangerous and exhausting cycle of blood sugar spikes and crashes. And they are losing precious years every single day. Every time you consume refined carbohydrates or hidden sugars, you are inviting a biological predator into your bloodstream. A predator that breaks your DNA and fogs your brilliant mind. The elite have moved far beyond the concept of simple dieting. They focus on absolute metabolic sovereignty, which is the total control over their fuel sources and chemical signals. This is the sophisticated art of preventing the internal rust before it even starts. It is about keeping your cellular machinery running with perfect, frictionless, and God-like efficiency. We are talking about protecting the collagen in your heart, the neurons in your brain, and the very foundation of your physical existence from the corrosive effects of modern life. You must realize that every glucose spike is a micro-trauma to your vascular system, a tiny tear in the fabric of your longevity that accumulates over decades of unconscious eating. By the time the symptoms appear, the damage is often deep. But today we are learning how to intercept the destruction at the molecular level before it manifests. We are dismantling the mechanisms of metabolic syndrome. We are extinguishing the flames of systemic inflammation. And we are restoring the pristine environment your cells need to thrive. In the high stakes and unforgiving environment of 2026, the silent elite do not guess about their health. They utilize advanced continuous glucose monitors to track every metabolic shift. This is the ultimate defensive tool for the sovereign human. It allows you to see exactly how your unique biology reacts to every single gram of fuel you consume. We have moved far beyond the primitive era of general medical advice. We now analyze individual and specific responses to stress, light, and sleep, because your body is a factory. By observing the immediate and raw impact of every meal, you can identify your hidden biological triggers. You can eliminate the silent killers, and you can flatten your glucose curve. This real-time biometric data provides the ultimate transparency. It removes the heavy veil of corporate marketing lies, and it gives you the absolute power to negotiate with your chemistry. When you master your personal data, you master your destiny. You stop being a helpless and blind passenger in your own body, and you become the lead engineer. The silent elite integrate this data with artificial intelligence to interpret complex metabolic patterns. They predict biological danger before it happens, and they stay in the optimal zone. Your body is a sacred temple, but it is also a highly sensitive machine that requires precise monitoring. And without this data, you are simply walking toward the grave. We use this intelligence to optimize our fasting windows, to time our high-intensity workouts, and to ensure that our blood remains a clean and powerful river of life. This is not about being obsessed with numbers. It is about being obsessed with the truth of your internal state, a truth that the healthcare industry often hides from you. With a continuous stream of data, you can see the hidden cost of that late-night snack, the invisible damage of a high-stress meeting, and the restorative power of a perfect night. You are no longer guessing. You are executing a precision-guided strategy for immortality, backed by the most advanced biological monitoring technology available to the human race. To achieve the legendary status of a long-lived elite, you must learn to master the dual system control tower of your cells, governed by the powerful pathways of AMPK and mTOR. Imagine your body as a massive industrial complex that must choose between constant expansion and deep restorative maintenance every single hour of your biological life. When you are constantly eating, you are activating the mTOR pathway, which is the master accelerator of cellular growth, protein synthesis, and unfortunately, the rapid acceleration of aging. In the landscape of 2026, the sovereign human understands that chronic mTOR activation is a death sentence. It leads to the accumulation of cellular junk and cancer. You must flip the switch to AMPK, the ancient energy sensor that detects when your fuel is low and triggers a total system-wide cleanup known as autophagy. This is the biological process of self-eating, where your cells identify broken mitochondria and misfolded proteins, then dissolve them into raw materials for a brand new beginning. The elite utilize strategic and prolonged fasting windows. They use chemical mimetics like high-purity berberine and pharmaceutical-grade metformin to force this switch into the active position. By silencing the growth signals and amplifying the repair signals, you are essentially telling your DNA that the environment is harsh and that it must upgrade. This is not a suggestion for your cells. It is a mandatory command for survival. It forces your body to become leaner, stronger, and infinitely more resilient. We are talking about a total internal renovation, where the old and rusty parts of your metabolism are replaced by high-performance biological hardware that never fails. Most people live their entire lives without ever activating this deep cleaning cycle. They are literally drowning in their own cellular waste, while you are becoming pure. Mastering the balance between growth and repair is the ultimate secret of the biohacking gods. It is how you build a body that lasts for centuries. You are shifting your biology from a state of reckless consumption to a state of strategic conservation, ensuring that every watt of energy is used for longevity. This molecular dance requires discipline. It requires an understanding of nutrient timing, and it requires the rejection of the modern world's obsession with constant feasting and growth. The true strike against the clock begins with the architecture of your fasting protocols, a deliberate and calculated withdrawal from the toxic abundance of the modern food supply. We do not just skip meals for the sake of hunger. We perform tactical biological strikes to trigger the highest levels of cellular recycling and mitochondrial renewal. In 2026, the elite practice a variety of advanced protocols, ranging from the 16:8 window to the more aggressive 72-hour deep tissue cellular purges. During these extended periods of caloric silence, your body undergoes a miraculous transformation, shifting its primary fuel source from volatile glucose to the steady power of ketones. Ketones are not merely a backup fuel. They are sophisticated signaling molecules that communicate directly with your genes to lower systemic inflammation and protect your neurons. This is the era of the fat-adapted warrior, an individual who can maintain peak cognitive performance for days without needing a single gram of external carbohydrates. You must understand that every hour you spend in a fasted state is an hour spent in the shop for repairs, where your enzymes are busy fixing DNA. The silent elite also utilize fasting, mimicking diets, specific nutrients that trick the body into thinking it is starving while still providing essential micronutrients for the heart. This allows for the benefits of autophagy without the loss of precious muscle mass. creating a physique that is C-Fe powerful and biologically young at the same time. We combine these strikes with intense resistance training to ensure that the body preserves its structural integrity while burning away the metabolic sludge of the past. You are not just losing weight. You are losing the biological markers of your old self. You are shedding the skin of a victim and growing the armor. This is the discipline of the Ghost Protocol, the ability to exist in a state of high energy deprivation, where your mind becomes a laser and your body becomes a weapon. Every successful fast is a victory over your primal instincts, a reinforcement of your sovereign will over the biological urges that lead the masses to an early grave. Your power as a sovereign human is entirely dependent on the health of your mitochondria, the ancient bacterial engines that provide the ATP for every thought and movement. Over decades of metabolic neglect, these engines become leaky and inefficient, producing massive amounts of oxidative stress that damage your membranes and accelerate the aging of your organs. The elite do not accept this decline. They engage in mitochondrial replacement strategies by using targeted nutrients like urolithin A and high-dose coenzyme Q10 to spark mitophagy. This is the targeted destruction of weak mitochondria, allowing your cells to replace them with young, efficient, and high-output energy plants that do not leak toxic waste. In 2026, we also use red light therapy and near-infrared light to stimulate the cytochrome C oxidase in our mitochondria, increasing energy production at the speed of light. This is the true definition of energy sovereignty, the ability to generate peak physical and mental power without relying on the artificial stimulants sold by the global corporations. Most people are operating on dying batteries. Their thoughts are slow and their bodies are heavy, because their internal power grid is failing under the weight of inflammation. By optimizing your mitochondria, you are upgrading your biological hardware to the latest version, ensuring that you have the energy to heal, to create, and to dominate. We also use specific breathing techniques to flood our cells with oxygen, creating a high-pressure environment where energy production is maximized and acidity is neutralized instantly. You are transforming your cells into high-performance reactors, capable of sustained output that would shatter a normal person's nervous system and burn out their fragile circuits. This is the final frontier of metabolic sovereignty, the ability to produce your own light in a world of darkness, and to maintain the fire of youth for eternity. To achieve the final level of metabolic sovereignty, the elite have moved beyond simple nutrition and into the sophisticated realm of peptide warfare, utilizing short chains of amino acids to bypass the limitations of the human digestive system. These are not drugs in the traditional sense. They are precision, guided signaling molecules that tell your body exactly how to repair its own broken machinery at a molecular level. We utilize peptides like MOTS-c, which is often called an exercise mimetic, because it communicates directly with your mitochondria to increase insulin sensitivity and promote the burning of visceral fat. In the landscape of 2026, The sovereign human also uses Tesamorelin to stimulate the natural release of growth hormone, ensuring that muscle mass is preserved even during deep fasting states. This is a tactical chemical intervention designed to restore the hormonal profile of a 20-year-old athlete, regardless of your chronological age or your previous metabolic damage. We are talking about the underground chemistry of longevity, where specific sequences like BPC 157 are used to heal the gut lining and stop the systemic inflammation caused by the modern food supply. Every injection is a command, a piece of biological code that overrides the slow decay of time and forces the body into a state of rapid and aggressive regeneration. The elite do not wait for the healthcare system to approve these tools. They take responsibility for their own internal environment, and they use data to monitor their progress. By stacking these peptides with a ketogenic lifestyle and cold thermogenesis, you create a synergistic effect that makes your metabolism virtually indestructible against the stresses of modern life. This is the weaponization of human biology, the ability to engineer your own hormonal surges and to repair your DNA with the precision of a master watchmaker. The ultimate secret of the biohacking gods is the realization that your DNA is not your destiny. It is simply a library of possibilities that you can open or close through your daily metabolic choices. We call this epigenetic reprogramming. The ability to silence the genes of disease and aging while activating the ancient survival genes that have kept our ancestors alive for millennia. Every time you master your blood sugar, every time you trigger autophagy, and every time you expose your body to tactical stress, you are physically changing the expression of your genome. You are not a victim of your parents' health history. You are the conscious author of your own biological story. And you have the power to delete the chapters of decline. In 2026, the elite use DNA methylation clocks to track their biological age, ensuring that their metabolic protocols are actually moving the needle backward toward youth. This is the era of the transhuman, a being who has taken the steering wheel of their own evolution and refused to accept the standard trajectory of human frailty. You must realize that your cells are constantly listening to the chemical signals you provide, and if those signals are clean, powerful, and sovereign, your cells will respond with eternal vitality. We are dismantling the very foundations of the aging process. We are rewriting the code of our existence. And we are stepping into a future where death is no longer a certainty. This is the highest form of sovereignty. The ability to dictate the terms of your own life and to preserve your consciousness in a body that refuses to fail or fade. We have covered the dark reality of your metabolic slavery and the high-tech path to your total liberation. But the final step is a commitment to the discipline of the sovereign human. You must leave this transmission and immediately audit your environment, purging the toxic fuels and the stagnant habits that have kept you in a state of biological rust. This is not a hobby or a temporary diet. It is a permanent lifestyle of high-performance architecture, where every decision you make is a brick in the fortress of your longevity. You must become the lead scientist in the laboratory of your own life, tracking your data, testing your limits, and refusing to settle for the mediocre health of the masses. Subscribe to this channel to join the global elite who are choosing to stay young, sharp, and powerful, while the rest of the world fades into the static of history. Share this protocol with the warriors in your circle, because a sovereign empire is built on the strength of its people, and we are stronger when we rise together. The era of the helpless patient is over. The era of the biohacking sovereign has begun. And the power to control your time is now in your hands. Reclaim your metabolism, reclaim your energy, and reclaim your future. Because the world belongs to those who have the courage to master their own biology. You are the architect. You are the engineer. And from this moment forward, you are the immortal king of your own physical empire. Let the transformation begin.